Part 11 continues with despite considering many options, Ben struggles to decide which technique is right for him to learn. Then the librarian notices his confusion and advises, "There are many techniques, but you must choose the one that resonates with you." Taking the librarian's advice to heart, Ben discovers a technique called Golden Jade Wave. This technique promises to greatly enhance his powers, but it requires an eagle bone for activation. Meanwhile, Lee and Liam attempt to heal the sacred god tree using various methods. Despite their efforts, the tree remains unresponsive. It is only when they use medicine made from the Fountain of Youth that the god tree regains some of its strength. With its partial restoration, the god tree activates a powerful defensive system, preventing further threats from reaching them. A bird beast that had been trying to attack their institution is instantly eliminated. Elsewhere, another bird beast is seen informing an old man that the god tree has recovered. The old man responds grimly, "It didn't recover on its own. Someone must have helped it." Meanwhile, Ben and Roy are rushing to help the distressed red bird, who is being bullied by a girl. The bird repeatedly calls out Ben's name for help. When they arrive, they are shocked to see that the girl is none other than Julie. Julie had intentionally troubled the bird to lurk Ben into meeting her. Upon seeing Julie, Ben smirks and teases her by saying, "You've gotten fat." Annoyed, Julie says, "Don't say that." Ben crosses his arms and asks, "Where did you go after leaving Beijuane Mountain? You just disappeared." Julie explains that, "My father came to pick me up, so I left with him." Ben raises an eyebrow and asks, "Then why did you come back?" As their conversation unfolds, both of them begin to blush. Watching the scene, the phoenix bird sarcastically comments, "What kind of drama is this?" Irritated, Julie turns to the phoenix and starts hitting it. While this unfolds, Ben remains lost in thoughts about his new technique. Suddenly, the ghost appears, the spirit of the warrior whose sword Ben had taken from Beijuane Mountain. Without hesitation, Ben hands the sword back to the ghost and says, "No need to thank me. Just give me a powerful treasure in return." Instead of rewarding him, the ghost begins to beat Ben. Stunned, Ben protests, "I helped you, and this is how you repay me?" The ghost responds sternly, "I did this for your own good. You are too obsessed with power but have yet to truly build your strength. This is your hidden weakness." With that, the ghost vanishes, leaving his sword behind. Ben stands there, contemplating the ghost's words, torn between focusing on increasing his power or strengthening his foundation. Elsewhere, Vilgax is deep in thought, uncertain whether the cousin whose bone he stole was Ben or someone else. The scene shifts. After much reflection, Ben finally makes his decision. He will increase his power. He begins meditating, channeling all his energy into enhancing his strength. Using his treasure, he starts forming the Golden Eagle Spirit formation. At that moment, the spirit of the tree god appears before him, offering him an eagle bone as a reward for his help. With this, his powers will grow even stronger. The next morning, Ben and Julie arrive at the school battleground, where two groups are organizing a fierce battle between Zora's group versus Zeta's group. Zora's group is overpowering Zeta's, proving to be a dominant force. Watching the match, Maria asks, "Is there anyone strong enough to defeat them?" At that moment, Ben steps forward, ready to fight. His opponent fights fiercely, but Ben refuses to back down. Meanwhile, Maria secretly sends a message to the old man, who soon discovers that the god tree's strength was only temporarily restored by the Fountain of Youth. The Fountain of Youth granted it temporary power, he mutters. But it won't last long. Meanwhile, Ben struggles to gain the upper hand in his match. Realizing he needs something stronger, he activates his spirit formation and unleashes the eagle spirit, ultimately defeating his opponent. At the same time, the old man arrives at the sacred place and attacks the god tree. However, though weakened, the god tree is not defenseless. Using its immense power, it destroys the old man. As he perishes, the old man mutters in shock, "So, you've been hiding your true strength all along." After the battle, the god tree calls for Lee. "My life is short," he says. "The fountain of youth gave me temporary energy, but soon, I will wither away. Many forces seek to attack this place. You must send the students to the outer boundary of the Institute for their safety." Lee immediately begins implementing the god tree's instructions. However, just as he prepares to evacuate the students, he makes a chilling discovery. A massive army of beasts has already gathered at the outer boundary of the Institute. Shocked and alarmed, Lee realizes that someone has informed about their plan to them. But who? Before he can act, a huge bird beast launches a sudden attack. Break time. With some interesting memes for you all. Comment your favorite one in comments. Me on February 14th be like, "I love you." All dreams have meaning. Meanwhile, my dreams be like. If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel. And the Institute is shown to be under attack by several beasts. Julie, Lee, Liam, and Ben begin fighting them. Jane also uses his thunder technique, but is unable to defeat the beasts. Then, the tree god creates a portal and urges them to enter it for protection. Meanwhile, a student is seen running towards Liam. Liam, who was guarding the portal, notices him, being chased by several beasts. Liam attempts to help him, but it was a trap. As Liam moves to protect the student attacks him. Despite the betrayal, Liam fights to his last breath. Liam dies in the fight, and Ben arrives to find him dead. He was depressed, remembering the time he spent with Liam. Then, a snake beast appears and destroys the portal with its power. Many people were trapped inside it. Julie was distraught seeing this, and some people came to her aid. Then, Julie decides to leave, to get help from her father. Later, two beasts are shown attacking the god tree in an attempt to destroy it completely. Then, the ghost comes to defend the tree, but the god tree was severely injured, and ultimately dies. They continue to fight the beasts with the ghost supporting them. Meanwhile, Ben, overwhelmed with grief and rage over Liam's death, transforms into an energy beast. With unstoppable power, he charged at the enemies, destroying them with his bare hands. His strength had reached new heights. He activated his Golden Eagle technique, unleashing a devastating assault. The battlefield shook under his overwhelming might. But the beasts weren't stopping. Their numbers kept growing, making it impossible to defeat them individually. Realizing this, Ben and the others decided to unite their strength and prepare to fight them back as one. They all started fighting the beasts more efficiently than before. Ben's treasure suddenly emerges and flies toward the ghost, who had been battling the two beasts with his sword. As soon as the treasure reaches the ghost, he uses it to imprison the legendary beasts inside it. Moments later, the treasure returns back to Ben's head. The ghost was now drained of energy, handed his sword to Ben back and said, "Rebuild this institute." With those last words, the ghost disappeared. Seeing this, the enemies quickly launched an attack on Ben. They knew that the ghost had left, and Ben's energy was nearly exhausted. Believing Ben and his companions were vulnerable, they rushed forward. Ben and the Red Bird fought back fiercely, refusing to back down. Others also fought with all their might. Meanwhile, Julie's father arrived on the battlefield. He declared, "We can rebuild this institute. Those who do not wish to fight, come behind me." As soon as he said this, he created a portal, and many people started moving toward it for safety. But the enemies did not allow this to happen. They launched a powerful attack to stop them. At that moment, Lee appeared from behind and quickly formed a massive shield to protect his companions. That shield's purpose was to prevent the enemy's attacks and escape from here. However, some beasts shattered the shield with their overwhelming power together, and Lee was killed in the process. Seeing this, Finn rushes into battle, his heart heavy with grief. But in his attempt to save Lee, he too is killed. Jane then created a huge energy shield to protect his students. He shouted, "Everyone, get inside." Realizing this, the beasts unleashed their combined energy into the sky to strike Jane down. Seeing the attack, Ben quickly placed a tag on himself, used to attract the energy, so Jane and others would be safe. However, Jane pushed Ben into the portal, removing the tag and placing it on himself. The attack strikes Jane instead. Part 12 will come soon, and if you don't want to miss out, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more amazing parts in future. Thanks for watching.